Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Tabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very, very interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So we got some pretty big, interesting news. We're going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe. Now, you guys know when the news came out, this Shannon Sharpe is going to be going to ESPN First Take. A lot of people were excited, and I was one of those people. Apart from Shannon Sharpe's ridiculous LeBron James takes, I think he's one of the best people on TV personalities talking sports on television. This is just my personal view. And as a matter of fact, right before he made his debut on ESPN First Take, during that, him and the Stephen A. Smith, Michael Jordan debate that they had on their Club Shay Shay, I wished him a tremendous amount of success. And during his first show debut, I thought he did a great job. Now, there was some people out there that try to distill the entire 2-hour show down to him calling Stephen A. Smith skip twice. First of all, Stephen A. Smith coming out there with that Stephen A. Smith sticker is hilarious, bro. That joint, that had me cracking when he put the Stephen A. sticker on his jacket. I was like, yo, that's funny. That's pretty funny, right? But some people try to distill his entire debut down to just, he called the guy Skip. Yes, he called him Skip. Was it funny? Yes, but come on, let's not act like as if that was the entire show. Like, the guy did more than just call Stephen A. Smith Skip. Come on, let's cut it out. But prior to him going there, when we knew that he was going to go there, a lot of people were speculating, and I got to give Too Raw for TV his credit. He said, he was one of the first people I heard say he wouldn't be shocked that if their first show generates over 1 million viewers. That's what he said. He would not be shocked. And if you go back and look at the podcast that they produced of him and Stephen A. Smith, that podcast in about 2 or 3 days got 1.8 million views. So you already knew that there was a tremendous amount of interest in seeing both Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe on television. And when he made his debut on TV, I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a fantastic job, and we actually want to play some of what he had to say just to show you guys how he performed on ESPN for the first day. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. If you're like me or anybody that works at Dreamerspro, chances are you're a very, very busy person, especially during the lunchtime when you don't have time to go to the grocery store, pick out fresh ingredients, and come back home and cook healthy, delicious meals. Sometimes we're so busy that you just end up finding yourself making a ham sandwich or something like that, which isn't really ideal. And this is the reason why we are excited to be partnering with Factor Meals. Factor Meals is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. You can choose from up to 35 gourmet meals. Every meal is packed with premium ingredients, crafted by Factor Meals' team of culinary experts and designed by dietitians to ensure that every meal is packed with premium science-backed nutritional quality. Your meals are delivered directly to your door, and all you need to do is heat them up in just under 2 minutes. Then they are ready for you to eat and enjoy. So for example, this week, I think I'm gonna go with the Italian herb chicken. What I love is that under every single meal, you can see if it's a calorie conscious option. For example, this meal I just chose is the dietitian approved calorie smart meal, which is around 550 calories or less per serving, and also a protein plus meal with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. So if you want to give it a try, click the link in the description below or head over to factormeals.com/dreamers50 and use code dreamers50 to get 50% off. And remember, when you try Factor Meals by using the link in the description below, remember that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Shannon Sharpe had to say on his debut, and then we're going to come back and get into the meat and potatoes of this show here. Take a listen to that.
Stephen A., what is your sole purpose at First Take?
To do whatever you tell me to, Drill Sergeant?
That's a brilliant idea. You must be a damn genius. You must have an IQ of 160. Now get the First Take.
I run this show. I don't care what Drill Sergeant is. You heard me? First Take's in the hands. It's a new day, baby.
Look who is here. 3-time Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharpe, Club Shay Shay in the building.
Let me get my mask.
It is our honor to have you, Shannon.
Appreciate the love.
No doubt.
Appreciate the love.
No
Thanks
doubt.
for welcoming me aboard.
Yeah.
Molly, thank you for welcoming me aboard also.
I love it.
Coming in and saying hello.
Dressed for the occasion.
I
Looking
did.
Great, ready to
I
go.
almost didn't wear a tie today, but I figured Stephen A. was going to wear a tie, so I said, you know what? I can't just let him out. Show me up on it.
Well, actually, he already starting off on the wrong foot because, ladies and gentlemen, he came in here and when he saw how fly I was looking this morning,
relax.
he said, damn,
I
got to wear this tie.
I did. He looked good. He looked good, doesn't he, Molly?
does.
He looked
Great
good. I
suit.
gave him his credit.
All right.
He knew what today was. But this is my only concern.
Yes.
Okay, so we only have an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just want you to mentally prepare yourselves. Today's like a warm-up.
An hour?
Because I'm a little worried about dealing
Maybe
with
that.
the two of you.
You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be a lot for me.
It is.
But I'm up for the challenge.
is. Okay.
All right?
I'm gonna help him out today, so I'm a giver.
Oh, you're gonna
I'm
help
a
him out?
giver. I'm gonna help him
He
out
doesn't
today.
need the
The
head
2
start.
hours is tomorrow. It's only an hour today. The
Yeah.
2 hours is tomorrow. So we're gonna get a little bit of Shannon Sharpe today,
right.
but you better be
I
ready.
don't need much time to go ahead and do the damage I'm going to do today.
Shannon, is KC on upset alert if they don't get Jones back?
Yes, because if you think about it, the Lions were picked to win that division, Skip.
You know what?
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's all right.
okay.
It's all right.
Stephen
It's
A.
all right. Yeah.
They were picked to win the division since the first time since it realigned in 2002.
Cool.
So we're talking over 2 decades. They're picked to win that division. We know what they represent offensively. With Jared Goff and the cast of receivers that he has, they took a running back in the first round. They traded for another, signed another one in free agency.
Cool.
So they're going to be offensively, they're explosive. Chris Jones is one of the 5 best defensive players in all of football. He was the #1 graded defensive interior lineman all of last year. Finished 3rd in the Defensive Player of the Year ratings. He's the one guy that you don't have to do anything special for, and he can go get your quarterback. Now, the big defensive acquisition that they made, he suspended the first 6 games. So now your 2 best defensive players, the 2 guys you're counting on to go get the quarterback on the ground, won't be there. And we know that's what got them in trouble over the previous years when they didn't get to the Super Bowl, was the ability to get to the opposing team's quarterback. So now without Chris Jones, you got to pay him. If you want any hope, any chance of repeating, Chris Jones has to be on this roster at some point in time. And you can't let it get 8 games into the season because he's going to show up because he wants to get credited for a season.
Right.
So he has to play at least 8 games. So he's going to come eventually, but you don't want to give these games away. The AFC is a lot better. Cincinnati is going to be better because they got an offensive line now that I believe can protect Joe Burrow. Hey, Buffalo says, you know what? Last year was a little hiccup for us.
Right.
We'll be better.
Right.
I like what the Chargers have done in L.A. with Herbert and those receivers. So they can ill afford to let this thing drag out.
Right.
You're going to have to pay him.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes took that bargain contract just so you can have guys like Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and you can pay those guys. Pay Chris Jones his money. He said that I don't know what he's asking for, but you're going to have to pay him somewhere in excess of probably $25, $28 million. I don't know if the Aaron Donald contract is possible. That's an outlier of a contract. But he's going to have to get close to Aaron Donald because he's that good of a player. 15 and a half sacks, and you take that out of the lineup, like I said, Stephen A., he's the only guy on that defensive line you don't have to do anything special for. You don't have to stunt. You don't have to twist. You don't have to call all diagram pressure. Chris, go get the quarterback, and he can go do it.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say there, right? It was pretty interesting. He had a nice flow with Stephen A. Smith. There's some great chemistry between them. So what happened? This morning, I was doing some research, and I came across an article from thespun.com that released some information about Shannon Sharpe's first week ratings, for the ratings of his debut on ESPN, First Take, and they were absolutely staggering. Let me get into what the article said here. It says, TV viewership numbers for Shannon Sharpe's First Take debut emerge. On Monday, Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe made his debut on ESPN's First Take. That episode turned out to be a massive hit with the general public. According to Front Office Sports, this Monday episode of First Take averaged 754,000 viewers. That made it the second most watched episode of the year for ESPN's debate show. ESPN's ratings for Sharpe debut episode on First Take trumped FS1's Undisputed, which had 215,000 viewers that day. Clearly, sports fans were eager to see how Sharpe would interact with Stephen A. Smith, especially after spending 7 years debating Skip Bayless. The tweet says, Michael McCarthy, news, Shannon Sharpe's debut with Stephen A. Smith on First Take Monday averaged a whopping 754,000 viewers. That made it the most watched episode of the year, besides February 13th, day after Super Bowl. Now Pat McAfee will join Sharpe Smith every Tuesday. ESPN TV ratings for First Take could receive another boost fairly soon. Pat McAfee is expected to join Smith and Sharpe every Tuesday on First Take, per the report for Front Office Sports, and the article goes on to say a few other things there. This is huge news. This is huge news for a few reasons. Number one, it shows that Shannon Sharpe has a lot of pull. Has a lot of pull. What do I mean? On average, ESPN First Take averages around 300 to 400,000 daily viewers on their show. So for you to see a 300,000 view bump, that has to be attributed to Shannon Sharpe, because he's the only new variable that's been added into the equation. Which shows you that Shannon Sharpe actually has a lot of value. But there's something also quite interesting, and we're going to get to this a little bit later. It shows you what a change of venue can do for a person. Because it's the same Shannon Sharpe that was an Undisputed, that was getting beaten every single day by ESPN First Take. You then move the guy to another network, it's a different scenario, and all of a sudden you have this interest that's been generated. To me, here's what I think is going to happen. Number one, I think Shannon Sharpe's podcast is going to benefit greatly from this, because given the visibility, it's only going to help. Number two, I think ESPN First Take is going to continue to soar. I think the addition of Pat McAfee, he also brings in his entire audience, and to see these three personalities on the same show, it looks like ESPN is making all of the right moves strategically in terms of this particular show. I don't think there's any question right now that this is probably the biggest show that the network has to offer its viewers. And I think that if they keep this up, I think they're going to continue to make things very interesting. I'll say this quickly. Based on Undisputed and ESPN First Take, I've been enjoying ESPN First Take more, even though predominantly both shows have been centered on the NFL. I'm still enjoying what I'm seeing from ESPN First Take, but this is just my position. So I have two questions for the audience. Number one, do you think Shannon Sharpe will continue to have this same effect on the show, maybe averaging 500,000 viewers every time he's on there, or do you think that things will fizzle out over time? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.